I'm your host, Donna Cates, and each week we'll dive into powerful stories, expert strategies, and practical tools to help you take charge of your financial future. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating a divorce, or simply looking to build your wealth with confidence, this is your space to grow, learn, and thrive. Let's get started with today's podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to introduce you to Corinne Christian, who is with Fighting Pretty. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you're welcome. And I'm really excited today to delve deep into your career journey. Can you give us about a 90-second overview of what it is you do and why you got into it?
Yeah, absolutely. I work with Fighting Pretty. We are an emotional support nonprofit that supports women battling cancer. We provide programs, events, community resources to encourage women, empower them, and help them remember that they are strong, beautiful, and not in this battle alone.
That is awesome. And I can tell you personally, my mother died from cancer about 6 years
I'm
ago.
so sorry.
And I know just the title of your organization, Fighting Pretty. I think for her, because she wore a coloscopy bag
Yeah.
and she had the catheter stuff too.
Mhm.
I don't know all the medical terms, but she literally was like walking around with this external equipment and just felt awful.
Yeah.
Forget the hair loss. She was just like, she didn't want to go anywhere. She didn't
Yeah.
want anybody to see her. So I really find value in what it is that you're doing. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, what do you see as the biggest problem in your industry and what it is that you do right now? And what are you doing to help solve that?
Sure. So I would say in the nonprofit sector, we're seeing a huge downturn in the donations coming from individual households over the last 5 years. Definitely, the trend began with COVID, which impacted thousands and thousands of households across the country and the world, and forced people to hold on a little more tightly to their resources through all of the uncertainty. But there really has not been much of a recovery or bounce back from that over the past 5 years. And so it's been interesting trying to navigate around that as a purely donation based organization, demonstrating the need. Really, I'm a storyteller, and so if I can come to you and say, you need to meet Sarah. Sarah is a thyroid cancer survivor. Sarah can't work right now because of how sick her treatments are making her, and Sarah needs our support and our encouragement, and you can help encourage Sarah. And so really making it personal for a lot of people really helps. Also being able to demonstrate our impact. Our biggest outreach program is our strength and beauty program, which we actually founded in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And that program has grown 300% over the last 5 years. We started with 3,000 women in 2020, and I just closed out my books for 2024, and we had over 8,300. So it's yeah, being able to say like your funding, your generosity, your donation really does have an impact through programs like ours, and being able to back that up with the numbers that we've got is huge.
And you call that program the Strength and Beauty Program?
That's correct. Yeah, we get to partner with hospitals and cancer centers and other nonprofit organizations all over the country. I can show you. Sorry for anyone who's just listening, but we send these little mini care packages to the facilities, and then they give them out to women in active cancer treatment. Each one contains our signature mini boxing gloves because you're strong, a toxin free, paraben free lipstick because you're beautiful, and then additional information on our organization and ways that women can further get connected, get more support, plug into our community. And so it's just a really like small but really powerful reminder that they are strong and beautiful and not in this alone.
That is so awesome. And does that actually give them access to additional resources
It
through the
does. Yeah, it
organization?
connects them to, we have an incredible website that has tons of blogs with recommendations or stories or, self-help advice. We have a resource page that talks about appropriate garments for treatment or skincare companies that we've worked with and trust that are safe for usage. Or even connects them to coaches, trauma coaches, emotional wellness or mental health coaches, so really kind of every facet of the world around the actual physical cancer battle.
And it sounds like just an awesome support group
Mhm.
or support resource. You're the connector of the people that have the illness. You're connecting with them, all of the different people and industries that can help them through the
We
process.
are, yeah. And Fighting Pretty is not specific to any one cancer type. We know that regardless of whether it's breast cancer, leukemia, colon cancer, that the experience can be kind of universal. That
Mhm.
women especially get hit with that, the side effects, the image changes. And so being able to partner alongside anybody at any stage is can be a huge turnaround for their quality of life.
Got it. So tell me, I know you mentioned, Corinne, the fact that donations have slowed down some,
Mhm.
specifically, from the beginning of COVID when everybody felt like they had to hang on to their own money a little bit more. Tell me where you see the nonprofit industries like you're in going in the next 5 to 10 years, and how are you staying on top of it and helping people to get back to donating the way they were before?
That's a great question, and I think the best answer is making connections. That we've seen a big trend with millennials and younger generations maybe not having the funding that they're able to donate, but still wanting to support a cause, wanting to be involved, and so being able to ask for volunteer hours has been a huge relief to us. That way, our staff isn't having to work quite as hard, and these people feel like they become part of our Fighting Pretty family, that they've put blood, sweat, and tears into getting those kits out to hospitals and treatment centers or in preparing for an event to host cancer patients. And then from there, once they've physically seen what it is that we do and who we're helping, then they tend to be a lot more receptive when we say, hey, would you be willing to donate $10 a month? $10 a month is two Starbucks. It's one lunch, and so a lot of people are a lot more willing to actually think about like, oh, you know what, I probably could manage that. And so it's a good way. Getting them in our door is a great way to encourage them to look at their donations. And but as far as the future of the industry, it's challenging. I mean, there's very little way to predict how the economy is going to shift with the new administration. There's, I mean, there are incredible opportunities out there with Melinda Gates and the grants that she sets up, with some of the other really unafraid women who are out there making a difference. And I think being able to get smaller organizations like ours in front of them is kind of our hope for the next 5 years or so. And really, like I said, making more connections. Um, our organization is small. There are 5 of us on staff, and we're all part time. And so, really taking the time to focus and get to know people in our area, get to know movers and shakers, get to know foundations, get to know, the people who make decisions in your city. Is It's all about relationships, and you got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. And I'm so delighted that you're on the podcast now, because I know our audience will be very receptive to, checking out the work that you're doing specifically. But one thing I was going to comment on is the fact that you're reaching out to the younger population that may not have as much affluence and ability to give right away. But the fact that once they come in and they're engaged in the process and doing the volunteer work, now they've got an emotional connection. And I literally wrote this down when you said, $10 is 2 Starbucks. It's literally kind of putting it into perspective,
Yeah.
because a lot of us just waste that amount of money without even thinking about it,
Yeah.
right? So that's huge. Good for you for making that distinction there. So I'd like to make this a little personal, if
Mhm.
I may. Tell me, what is your biggest failure, or you might want to call it a challenge, that you faced to this point in your life, whether that's professionally or personally, and how has that shaped the way that you do business today, Corinne?
Oh, that is a great question. Thank you, Donna. Biggest challenge, I think, is I have dealt with relatively severe anxiety my entire life. And it took me years, embarrassingly long, to find out that that's not how everybody felt. That it was, I assumed that everybody was literally sick to their stomach for a week before an important test or something like that. And so really getting a handle on that, getting counseling, getting medication, recognizing my triggers, and when I am in the midst of that anxiety, being able to recognize that that's what it is. I remember I have two children, and with my first, I remember having huge anxiety every night. Somehow, when it got dark, the anxiety levels just rose, and I would panic, and I was never entirely sure why. There was no cause. It was just anxiety. But I remember when my son, our second, was born, and that started, and I remember being able to go, you know what? This isn't real. This is just anxiety. It will go away, and I don't have to let it control me. And so learning to just recognize when I'm spiraling, when I'm triggered, when I'm overwhelmed. Um, and I think that really bled over into a lot of the ways that I approached everything, relationships, career choices. In fact, my coworkers are going to laugh. A year, 6 months ago, last summer, my executive director and I went and got tattoos together. And it was just one of those things. I'd never had one, but I decided that I kept coming back over and over to this idea of just ask. And
Love it.
yeah, that it can never hurt. The worst is that you'll get a no, and then you move on. Or it might open a door. You might have a conversation. You might get a new donor. You might start something incredible. And so learning to set aside the anxiety and just ask. And then also the learning moment too of that it can be very humbling to ask. Being saying, I have a need, or can you help us, or being able to set my pride aside and make the ask, and then having that potentially lead to something even better. And so it was something that meant enough that I actually put it on myself permanently.
I absolutely love that. And I'm going to take a minute just to share with you
Please.
so you can know I totally relate. There was a time that I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression.
Mm.
And one of the tricks, and I don't even remember the why behind it, but I actually was wearing a rubber band around my wrist. So anytime I had that kind of spiral feeling going, I was supposed to just take that rubber band and pop it, just as a reminder. You have that too. Do you still use it?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, and it's that taking a minute, recognizing, like you said, oh my gosh, I'm in this, and then so yeah. So, thank you for sharing that. I know a lot of us don't like to be vulnerable that way and kind of share what a lot of people would see as our weaknesses. But I love the fact that you've acknowledged how that actually helped you grow and to be in a place where you aren't afraid to ask.
Yeah. It's
That's
a
huge.
whole learning process, no destination reached, but still moving.
Right, absolutely. I love everything about it. Okay, I'm going to ask another personal
Okay.
question. If you could have lunch with any one person, whether they're living or deceased, who would it be and why?
Oh. I think right now, I feel like that answer could change on a weekly basis, but I think right now I would say the director Greta Gerwig. I love her movies. I love the thoughtfulness that she takes with her movies. Um, I'm a huge reader, and so her adaptation of Little Women I thought was beautiful, and I know that she is in the beginning process of doing an adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia, and I think yes, she takes a sincerity and also a little bit of whimsy, I think, with the movies that she does. And I loved the Barbie movie as well. And so,
Mhm.
yeah. So I think she would be my choice right now. Plus, I think she would just be really fun to talk to. I'm sure she's got incredible stories.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome! And I did not know about the Chronicles of Narnia
Yeah.
coming into fruition. That is fabulous. I'm putting that on my radar for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let's wrap up with you sharing with the audience how they can reach out to you specifically and to the organization as well to offer their support.
Absolutely. Thank you. On social media, our handle is at Fighting Pretty. You'll see our logo has a cancer ribbon, but it also has a boxing glove, a lipstick, a high heel, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, a little bit on LinkedIn and TikTok. So please follow us there if you just want some encouragement and some inspiration. But please check out our website, fightingpretty.org. There you can find that blog, those resources. You can learn more about our Strength and Beauty program. You can also learn about our Fight Club, which is the program where you can support by donating $10 a month that I had mentioned. And I am more than happy to have further conversations about the work that Fighting Pretty does and ways that people all over can get involved. We have community groups in Ohio, in Rhode Island, in Virginia, in Texas, and are always looking to build more and help more women in their fight. So please feel free to email us. Info@fightingpretty.org is a great place to start. And I'm happy to answer questions, provide more information, and get you connected.
I will tell you, the thought that came to my mind is that I promise that every person that's viewing this, regardless of where they are, probably knows somebody that's experienced cancer. So if we did nothing today, ladies, except to go out there and share this as a resource, we'd be making a big difference,
It's
don't
true.
you think?
Absolutely.
So that's our challenge, is not to just hear the information and love Corinne, but to actually do something about it. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the program today. I hope today's conversation left you feeling inspired, informed, and ready to take the next step in your financial journey. Remember, building wealth isn't just about money, it's also about creating a life that aligns with your goals and values. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with the women in your life who deserve financial empowerment too. Until next time, stay confident, stay empowered, and keep building the life you desire.